We're going to show you how we prep the feet for movement. We're bipedal creatures. We need to make sure that these feet understand what role they're supposed to play, how they absorb force, how they disperse force. So we're going to have Chris go into a horse stance. So he's going to use the internal-external rotation to get into that wide stance. And then he's going to drop the hips and tuck the pelvis. So come up a little bit higher, just a little bit. Good. So he's going to place the stick in front of him. He's going to angle the stick back towards you just a little bit. He's only going to use the stick as just an extra point of stability. He's not actually pushing the stick into the floor for this one. So we're going to go a single foot at one time. So we're going to move it through all three planes of motion. So what I'm going to have him do here is he's going to come up onto the right toes. So he's going to elevate the right heel up to 12 o'clock position. So the foot is vertical to perpendicular to the floor. Then he's going to bring it down slowly with control. And you may get a little bit of choppiness as it comes back down. So he's going to do that 5 times. And that's the soft tissues learning how to decelerate that motion down. And that foot to whole entire hip, all the way up into the hip complex gets activated. So this is sagittal plane, just straight up and down. Once he gets to 5, on the 5th one, he's going to keep the heel elevated. And now we're going to address frontal plane. So he's going to move the foot back and forth. He's going to shift weight from little toe to big toe, and then from big toe to little toe. So this lateral ankle mobility is extremely crucial. So we have to have this. It helps save the knee a lot of grief and helps save the hip a lot of grief also. So for people that turn their ankles, sprain them, if they don't have a lot of lateral ankle mobility, the soft tissues undergo a lot more strain and a lot more higher rate of injury. Once he gets the 5 to each side, we're then going to address transverse. So we're going to work that clock position with the heel. So he's going to go counterclockwise 5 times. So he's going to go to 9 o'clock. He's going to almost scrape the floor at 6, then 3, and then back to 12. And you're going to feel that force as it drives through the power pad of the foot. And then as it transfers from little toe and it hits all 5 digits all the way back over to the big toe. So once he gets 5 counterclockwise, he's going to reverse that and he's going to go counterclockwise. And what we want to see is we want to make sure that the upper body is staying still. We want to keep that stick at 12 o'clock position. We want to make sure we're breathing. And once he gets the 5 clockwise, then he's going to transfer over to the left foot and he's going to repeat. Excellent. So as we come over here to the left foot, he's going to go through the same phases. So he's going to address the sagittal plane. So he's going to come up and down. In this position, we can start to do a self-assessment. As you're doing these moves, you can assess yourself, wow, this foot doesn't move as well as the other in one plane of motion or the other. That's when you can self-assess, do your own self-assessment and realize this is something I need to work on. So he's done the sagittal. So now he's going to do frontal. So he's going to go side to side. And we can see how we're working medial and lateral aspects of the ankle. And some free adjustments along the way. So we need the joints, you have 33 joints in the foot. They need to know they need to be mobile. The foot needs to be mobile. If the foot is locked up, that's going to create a chain of issues all the way up the leg. Now he's going to go into transverse. So he's going to go 5 clockwise, counterclockwise, and then he's going to go 5 clockwise. Good. So what we want to see is we want to make sure that the foot's not rotating too much. We just want that foot to just move circularly. So we don't want you to screw the foot into the floor and turn it. So you see he's got a little bit more issue on this left foot. So it's not as smooth. Good. Okay. So once he's gotten 5 in both directions, now we're going to take it to the next phase. The next phase is to do the bilateral, so we have both feet working together. This is strength training. For about 98% of the general population, this is going to be very difficult, okay? You are literally putting all your body weight on your feet and toes and moving up and down, side to side, and then with transverse motion. So we're going to do the elevation up. We call this the Elvis because we don't want to change level on the head. And then down. Good. So as he comes up onto the toes, the pelvis is actually going to come underneath a little bit more. And if you want, you can make Elvis noises while you do this. Okay, so he's going to go 5 of these. Once again, we're trying not to lean on the stick. We don't want to depend on that. It's there if you need it. Once he's gotten 5 of those, then he's now going to address the frontal plane. So he's going to bring both heels up to 12 o'clock, and he's slowly going to start to shift weight from left to right 5 times. We want to try to keep the upper body still. So we want to disassociate, and then you really want to focus on, wow, am I getting that lateral movement through the foot and the ankle? Good. Once he's done 5 of those, we are then going to address the transverse. So we're going to go into clock circles, and we're going to go 5 counterclockwise to start with. So both heels come up to 12 o'clock position, and we're going to begin that counterclockwise rotation. Remember, you're trying to hit 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and back to 12 with each circle. You want to try to keep the upper body nice and still. Good. Your motion may be very small. Pay attention to that. If you're trying to do a big motion and you're having a hard time controlling it, then you do not own that. Reduce the motion. Go a small circle or a smaller elevation up and down or a smaller movement side to side. We're looking for quality. We're looking for neuromuscular control. Less is more. And as you get better, then you can slowly start to increase. And that's where you'll see your progress. Excellent. And that's our foot and ankle warm-up prep. Grab a stick and get those feet activated.